Hi, I'm Hannah. Thanks for having me here tonight. I work at Farm Fresh Rhode Island. We're a nonprofit based in Pawtucket, Rhode Island that does a lot of work with farmers markets, local agriculture. I do a lot of work with our distribution programs, including Market Mobile and Veggie Box. Market Mobile is our wholesale local foods, all local foods distribution program. We have a facility in Pawtucket where we aggregate and distribute food from about 60 local farms in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and we have 2 cheese producers in Connecticut. And we have a network of trucks that go out delivering to restaurants, grocery stores, and a few institutions all around Rhode Island and the Boston area. And then Veggie Box is the sister program to Market Mobile, where we aggregate from about 30 local farms and distribute CSA-like boxes to workplaces, institutions, and many other community centers around Rhode Island. So one of the first things in terms of when we started working with institutions was creating a map of what does the institutional landscape look like. So when we're talking about institutions, who are we talking about? How do they purchase food? Institutions are all different. Some are managed independently, some are managed by food service management companies. Some have bid systems that they work through, some have contracts with distributors, others have freedom to purchase however they want. And so starting to map that out and understand what does the landscape look like, how is food moving through, who is already purchasing local food, what are the avenues and venues and places to make changes. So just saying, when we talk about institutions, there's a lot of different types of places that we're talking about. In terms of challenges, some of the big challenges we see at Farm Fresh is, again, we work a lot through alternative distribution systems, and Kimberly is on our staff as well, and she'll talk about some other things. But we see some of the big challenges with farm to institution work falling in 2 broad categories, which is a lack of knowledge on the food system, on the institutional part, about what is seasonal availability, how do you cook with it, how do you work with local farms. Oftentimes when we're talking about local food, we're talking about whole products, and that's not something institutional kitchens are always prepared to use. Oftentimes institutions are used to getting pre-cut products. We talk to some institutions who use up to 90% of the produce that they use comes pre-packed, pre-sliced, pre-cut, or is frozen. And so there's a lot of infrastructure needed to get whole fruit and vegetables from farms into that product for customers. And then one of the other big sides in terms of challenges we see is infrastructure. So how does food move from local farms to institutions in a way that allows farmers to get the best price for their products and for customers to get the products they want when they want them, and that sort of traceability that follows along the value supply chain. In terms of the successes that we've had, there's a lot of institutions who are engaged. We're having this conversation at an institution tonight. The food service management companies, there's a lot to be said for a collection of people who are interested in, if one hospital like Kent is starting to serve fish in their cafeteria, there's ability for the other institutions within that network to start doing that as well. And so if one starts doing it, it can open up avenues for the others. There's been a lot of really great work done by the Rhode Island Farm to School Project in engaging institutions, and there's starting to be communication between the school departments and the hospitals, and so there's a lot of opportunity within the institution for sharing of resources across sectors and across institutions. There's a lot of farms in Rhode Island who are interested in scaling up and being able to produce more for institutional customers. So that is a really big success, but also kind of a challenge in terms of how do you grow up the scaling up of production with the customer. Veggie Box, as I mentioned, is our CSA-like delivery program. It's in our 3rd year. We found that to be a great tool for engaging institutions. I like to think of it as kind of our backdoor program. The program, instead of working through the cafeteria, works with the employees at institutions. So there's a lot of, because Farm Fresh Rhode Island, our program runs through an alternative distribution channel, we're not able to work with institutions right now that have food service management contracts, but we're able to work with their employees. And so through the Veggie Box program, we're bringing local food to the hospitals. We're starting to engage the employees there and kind of build up champions within the hospital who might start to say, hey, this food's coming to us, why isn't it in our cafeteria? Starting to learn about seasonality and say, starting to, really build up those champions within organizations. And I think there's a lot of opportunity within farm to institution for local farms and institutions to kind of grow and evolve together. There's a lot of opportunity to model really innovative partnerships here and be a model across the country and share the successes. I think there's already a lot of successes in Rhode Island so far. And opportunities to engage new infrastructure.
Thank you. And Kimberly.